Galimera, Galimera, Galimera. As you can see, I am videoing again from inside the house because literally within the last 5 minutes, the weather was absolutely chucking it down. So the broadcast is still going to be done from inside the house today. But as you can see, the sun has come out. We've got a slight respite from the weather. At the moment, we've got strong weather wind warning. Can I just thank Amanda for a concise weather forecast? She says, good morning, Ginge. Today is going to be strong winds and storms. And it's going to be 18 and feel like 18. But at the moment, the sun is out at the moment. However, let's go and have a look at the window from the lounge because we have a little, oh no, she's gone now. Our little chicken Dorothy was sat over there in the window looking in. But anyway, that's the weather at the moment from the outside. Let's have a quick look at it from the outside, shall we? Yeah, there we go. Literally within the last few minutes, the rain has stopped. Oh, and here comes Dorothy running up the stairs. Hello, my lovely. How you doing? And there come the rest of the gang coming in, checking on us this morning, all the chickens. But anyway, let's crack on with the news because a lot's been going. Oh, she's gone in the house now. Come on, darling. Come on. Come on, you. Out you go. Come on, and you as well. This is Peg and Meg. There we go. Come here. Out you go. Come on. Come here. Come on. Out you go. You as well. You as well. Come on. Out you go. Come on. Oh. Come on. Off of there. Off of there. Come on. Out you go. Well, there's one out. There's another one. Come on. Come on, lovely girl. Come on, lovely. Oh, no, they're coming back in again. Come on. Off you go. We'll sort you out in a little while. There you go. Oh, it never stops, does it? There you go. Right then. I hope you enjoyed that this morning. It just makes things a little bit more fun. Anyway, let's look at what's been going on in the last 24 hours. I'll just give you a bit better of a snapshot of the weather from the lovely Amanda. She says actually it's going to be temperatures 17 and going to feel like 12 and also blooming cold, she says. Also, there's been an extreme weather warning from the Greek government this morning. Extreme weather conditions are expected in areas of Greece on Monday and Tuesday, according to an emergency bulletin released by the National Meteorology Office on Sunday. Heavy rainstorms and very strong winds are expected. On Monday, the storms are expected to reach the Ionian Islands and the western continental Greece. So there you go. We're in for some bad weather. Right. Okay, let's have a look at COVID in the last 24 hours. Again, the figures are dropping, believe it or not, when it comes to infections. You might remember yesterday, I told you there'd been 5,157 new infections. The day before that, we'd had 6,201. And the day before that, we had 6,260. Well, today I can report that on our latest figures at the moment, we have 3,526. That brings the total now to 966,221. 7 cases were identified after checks into the country, and that was also down on the day before where there had been 11. Also, can I just point out at the moment, we've only had 1 confirmed case of the Omicron variant. Although there was a suspected 2 other cases, that has still not been ratified, whether those 2 cases were Omicron or not. So at the moment, as far as we're aware here, Greece has had 1 case of the Omicron, and the madness continues with the measures with it. All right. Anyway, also interestingly, as it's a Monday, I have also been looking at the stats of all the Ionian Islands that we show an interest in because they're our neighbours, as to what their epidemiology has been like during the week. And again, it's interesting that we're seeing a drop mainly in most locations except for 1. So first of all, let's look at Lefkada then. Lefkada had 8 new infections registered yesterday. That brings the total now to 33 infections that Lefkada had for last week. And that is down on the week before where they had 79. The week before that, they had 54, and the week before that, they had 88. So their epidemiology has been a bit up and down. Can I just point out that Lefkada is in the green as far as the Greek traffic light system is concerned. I think I said yesterday they were in another colour. So it was we're in another colour, but they're actually in green as far as the epidemiology traffic light Greek system is concerned. Now, Corfu yesterday recorded 61 new cases, and the day before that 78, and the day before that 96. Their weekly tally for this week, unfortunately, is up on the week before. The week before they had 503 cases, and this week, the end of this week, they have reported now 639 new cases, and they are in the dark red. And when you look at their epidemiology for the last 4 weeks, 4 weeks ago they were 567, then it was 655, then it was 503, and then this week it's 639. So again, epidemiology has been up and down with that island. And just to remind you, they are in dark red. I think I said yesterday they were in dark green or something, which was a mistake. They are in dark red, all right, just to let you know. Now, our neighbours across the road in Kefalonia, their epidemiology, again, has dropped ever so slightly in the last week in comparison to the week before. They had 7 new cases reported from yesterday. That was down on 8 from the day before. But their weekly tally now for this end of last week is 84 to the 85 the week before that. And the week before that, they'd only had 44. And the week before that, they had 71. So again, epidemiology up and down on Kefalonia. They are in yellow as well. And if you remember, they had their level lowered to a lower level actually at the beginning of last week. So again, they are in yellow. Now, as for Zakynthos, again, our epidemiology actually is looking good. We're on a downward trajectory, believe it or not. We only had 3 cases reported yesterday of new infections on the island. The day before that, we'd had 77, and the day before that, we had 12. But for the end of last week, now we can report to you that the island here had 86 new infections recorded. That was down on the 118, which was the week before. Then the week before that, it was 126, and the week before that, it was 144. So that is showing that Zakynthos is having a downward trend in infections, which I think is good news. Also as well, we are still in amber. We were in light red, and we were then dropped to amber on the Friday of the week before. So again, things are looking good with our epidemiology, that it is going down. And once again, can I just stress to you at the moment, only 1 case of Omicron has been detected in Greece. 2 other cases were suspected, but as yet we've had no word as to whether those cases were Omicron or not. But we'll wait and see how that pans out. When it comes to deaths in Greece at the moment, I'm pleased to say that deaths have also dropped slightly as well. Yesterday, I reported 88 deaths. The day before that, I reported 97. The day before that, it was 89. Well, I can report today we've had 79 new deaths across Greece. That brings the total of deaths up to 18,595. 95.3% of those people had underlying health conditions or were over the age of 70 years of age. And again, as of now, none of these deaths have been linked to the Omicron mutation at all. So again, as far as deaths is concerned, we've not had any deaths from Omicron either as well. So again, our condolences to those families that are affected at this time. And again, every death is tragic. But again, at the end of the day, our death rate is declining. And I'm hoping it's going to stay on the declining trend as well. When it comes to the ICUs then at the moment, now, the ICU numbers have started to creep up again. Yesterday I did report 697. The day before that we had 694. And the day before that we had 697. So there was an up and down. Today I can report there's 715 critical cases in hospitals across the country at the moment. Of those 715, 440 are male, 275 are female. The average age is 64. 80% of those people have underlying health issues or are over the age of 70. Now, regarding the critical patients at the moment, 570, that's 79.72%, are unvaccinated or partially vaccinated, and 145, which is 20.28%, are fully vaccinated. I did see something quite interesting yesterday. A little poll was being done by one of the Greek newspapers, and they wanted opinions from people. And the opinion was this: mandatory vaccination to over 60s and fines. Do you agree with it? Of that, people who agreed with vax and not with a fine was 14%. Those who fully agreed with it was 31%, and those that didn't agree with it, I fully disagree with mandatory vaccinations to over 60s and fines, believe it or not, was 55%. So again, that was just a snapshot survey. There was 1,431 people took part in that survey, and it looks like from those people, only 14% agreed with mandatory vaccinations. So just a little point to note there as well. Now, a quick snapshot of COVID in the UK at the moment, just because interest for Jane and I, because we are looking to go back to the UK for Christmas and New Year. Anyway, emergency regulations last week reintroduced mandatory mask wearing up until December the 21st to slow down the spread of the Omicron variant. A final decision on whether to extend their use may not be taken until as late as December the 18th. Now, we should be in the UK by December the 18th. So again, you can understand why we're watching this very carefully at the moment. Anyway, Whitehall sources said it was likely masks would stay mandatory for at least another 3 weeks to give scientists more time to assess the threat by the Omicron. Other restrictions, this is the thing that really caught my eye, other restrictions such as travel tests and compulsory 10-day quarantine for those in close contact with an Omicron case are also set to be extended. However, sources said Boris Johnson is resisting pressure to move the government's Plan B until at least New Year's Eve, till the new year. Now, interestingly, at the moment, as of the time of me writing this, 246 Omicron has been detected in the UK for a population of 60 million. All right. So 246 cases, and the madness continues on, and the fear mongering continues to be stirred. So again, let's put that in context. 246 cases at the moment, one confirmed case in Greece. And yeah, there we go. That's all I'm going to say on that. Right. Today's Greek news then, a story hot off the press, nothing to do with COVID, affecting Zakynthos. The first wind turbine arrived in Zakynthos under extreme secrecy last night and with a police escort. Now, Corfu basically drove wind turbines away from their island in the middle of the coronavirus. They were booked to be sent over to Kefalonia, and now it is the turn of Zakynthos. Now, the first wind turbine has already been installed in Liver, and apparently it's going up in a rented field since Zakynthos, since the time of the Venetians, has no public land for it to be erected. Now, the night operation, according to the local press here, went very well. They said basically a secret ferry boat participated in it all, which arrived in the port overnight as if it were a war. So a secret operation to move this wind turbine onto the island. Obviously, because of the interests which also maintain with government money, okay, they're afraid of the reaction of the local community. So this is the reason why they're bringing this wind turbine in great secrecy, although the secret is now out. Now, in the recent past, neighbouring Kefalonia and Corfu, they fought to have the wind turbines removed from there. And obviously in Corfu, they were particularly anti the turbines, and they prevented the placement of one of them on Mount Pandakratara there, where they didn't want a turbine up on the hills there. So at the moment, this is interesting to see that this turbine has arrived. Whether this turbine is going to do a lot for the power of electricity here on the island, and how much is it going to put into our local grid here, that is still yet to be seen. But I can't believe that one turbine is going to make a big difference to the power supply here for the island. But it's going to be interesting, the fact that they've had to do this in secret, keep it quiet from the local community, and the next thing you'll know, you'll see it sticking up somewhere in Livra. So again, just a thought on your reactions to that at the moment. Right, let's go back to COVID then here in Greece. Public prosecutor in Lamia in central Greece ordered an inquiry into the death of a 14-year-old girl who died after contracting COVID-19 and passed away in less than a week. The girl was treated at home and was taken to hospital when it was already too late. Now, the parents were reportedly against vaccination and coronavirus deniers. Don't know anything about that, but again, they're ramping it up, all right? The girl was rushed by her mother to hospital in Lamia on Saturday morning with chest pain. While doctors were trying to incubate her, she suffered a severe cardiac arrest. Keep Talking Greece briefly reported that yesterday. Now, on Sunday, and in consultation with the hospital, the General Health Director of the region assigned the prosecutors to investigate the circumstances under which the girl died. Now, according to the state broadcaster ERT, the girl was tested positive to COVID-19 on November the 29th. She had a fever and was treated at home, her parents also said. Now, on Saturday morning, her health condition deteriorated and she was taken to an emergency room of the hospitals. Doctors diagnosed she had suffered a Islamic attack, most likely from coronavirus complications. Now, the doctors had made arrangements that the girl was to be transferred to the Children's Hospital in Athens, but the girl died before before she was even taken to the Lamia intensive care unit. In a statement, the hospital reportedly announced that the girl was not vaccinated and her death was attributed to COVID-19 complication that affected the girl's heart. Now, an autopsy is still waiting to be available, and we will basically get the result from that. Anyway, just once again, our condolences to the family. To lose a 14-year-old child in those circumstances is tragic. I'm not going to get drawn in on that because there might be a legal case actually to come as well. Also as well, a well-known anti-vaxxer bishop of the Greek Orthodox Church who was infected with COVID-19 needed a prosecutor's order to be transferred from his home to a public hospital. Until the very last moment, the 80-year-old bishop and his relatives were opposing his incubation, which doctors considered essential. In the end, the bishop ended in the ICU bed in the biggest hospital in Athens, the Evangelimos. Anyway, Hospital Workers Union, PODUM, made a denouncement saying that the 58-year-old vaccinated COVID-19 patient who was incubated outside the ICU in the same hospital of Agrium, Western Greece, and also claimed there was a waiting list and the bishop had skipped a waiting list. Anyway, PODUM stated data from the health ministry that 120 incubated COVID patients in hospitals were waiting for an ICU bed and were wondering how the bishop managed to get one so quickly. Anyway, the man's wife went to the media and complained that her husband was bypassed on the line for the bed at the intensive care unit for the sake of the bishop. Anyway, the 58-year-old man infected with COVID-19 was incubated outside the ICU and was treated in a normal ward. Now, she told Mega TV on Friday afternoon the father of 2 children, aged 13 and 19, has underlying health issues and his condition is considered particularly critical. I'm a practicing Christian, she says, but our bishop was treated preferentially compared to my husband, and he was found immediately an ICU bed. He is a bishop and will find an ICU bed like a politician. Anyway, we are nothing. We can't find one. We don't have the luxury. Anyway, the woman obviously was very upset and was very bitter towards the Archbishop. So we're going to leave that there, that case. But again, it looks like the clergy are skipping the queue when other people want it. I'm not sure about his anti-vaxxing stance, whether he was completely anti-vax and was putting his hands in the faith of God that he got over the disease, or whether he was pro-choice, okay, or was pro-choice. Don't forget, we've got 14 priests here on Zakynthos at the moment who were told to get vaccinated by the Archbishop here. As of yet, no figures or numbers have been released by the Archbishop here as to how many of that 14 actually did get vaccinated, or whether that is still ongoing at the moment. So again, keeping an eye on that. Again, when it comes to anti-vax, I am not anti-vax. I am pro-choice and against mandatory vaccination, just to make that completely clear. All right. So again, these stories for me are of an interest, and I think they're also of an interest of people who are getting in touch with me who are not wanting mandatory vaccination at whatever age. It should be your choice. All right. Anyway, another interesting story affecting a local community here is the constant rise in prices in Greece for basic goods and basic necessities continues without a break, on the pretext that it is all to do with the coronavirus pandemic. Now, there are Christmas items whose prices have doubled, and this can be seen by consumers who are going to the shops here. Now, in Zakynthos, apart from food and clothing, there is a large increase in Christmas items, which everybody buys to decorate their homes at this time of year. Now, rising prices affect everyone as current incomes in households cannot meet the needs. The first indications are that inflation in November exceeded 4% and is moving towards 5%, while continuation is unknown as prices on supermarket shelves are changing daily. Now, the new unpleasant accuracy forecast comes from the wholesale price of goods, which have increased by more than 100% and will soon appear in the retail market despite the alleged interventions of the Ministry of Development and the Competition Commission. Now, the only thing I can say on that, if people are worrying about Christmas decorations and the price of them going up, I think your priorities are in the wrong area. Now, if you're worrying about the price of food, the price of fuel, the price of heating, the price of electricity, yes, I believe there is a problem in those locations and prices are going up. But this seems to be right across the world at the moment. Also in the UK, price of fuel, price of energy has gone up dramatically. Little story I heard yesterday, somebody who was paying something like 50 odd pounds a month, the price of their electric bill then went to 135 pounds a month, which is an incredible increase because of the collapse of certain private power companies who were supplying power to households. So again, this is not just a phenomenon here in Greece. Seems to be a phenomenon everywhere. Everybody's blaming either Brexit is another blame, or they're blaming the COVID pandemic. But again, if your priority is the price of Christmas baubles have gone up, I think your priorities are seriously in the wrong area. You want to be worrying about the cost of food and cost of basically being able to afford to pay your bills. But anyway, we'll keep an eye on that story and we'll see how that pans out as well. Right, going back to the Pope's visit, for all those people that have been curious about what's happening with Pope Francis, who's been over here on tour. Pope Francis visited a reception centre and identification migrant centre on Lesbos. He was there on Sunday, and he called on the world not to forget the refugees and the migrant crisis during his speech in the presence of the Greek president, Katrina Skelopoli, also the migration minister, Notis Matri, and the European Commission Vice President, Margarita Skilas. And also there were 92 refugees in the camp who also attended his visit. We are talking about human lives, he stressed, and added that he did not see much change from his previous visit. We have to bitterly admit that this country, talking about Greece and others, are in a difficult situation, and there are those in Europe who insist to address these problems as issues that do not affect them. Anyway, Pope Francis also criticised the idea of building a wall to keep people out, stating that fences and walls do not solve problems. He spoke of the ease with the fear with which fear of the other can spread through society, and wondered why society focuses on people who are the expression of the problem rather than its root causes. Anyway, he said, let us find the courage to be ashamed in front of them who are innocent and our future. He said of the children in the camp, let us not hastily escape the brutal images of their tiny bodies lying lifeless on the sands. That was imagery, if you might remember, from a few years ago that went viral around the world with a body of dead children on the beaches here in Greece. He stated and added, let us not let our sea turn into a sea of the dead. Anyway, he said, today's visit by the Pope gladdens us all, said an 18-year-old from the Republic of Congo who has been in the camp for more than a year. I now know that there is something out there thinking. I now know there is someone out there thinking of us. He also added and stated he gives us hope and the strength to carry on. However, the Pope's visit is not just important for the Catholic inhabitants of the camp, as it is not a question of religion but solidarity, and there will be 37 Muslim camp members attending the Pope's speech as well. Another 60-year-old Iraqi refugee said he demonstrates that he is with us as a brother, before adding, every one of us is like me, like you. Anyway, this is the second visit the Pope has made to the Greek island, and throughout his visit to Greece and Cyprus, but also his entire tenure, he prioritised issues of refugees and migrants. You might remember he actually did take migrants from the Lesbos camp back to the Vatican on his last visit 5 years ago. No mention whether he plans to take any more migrants back, although he did take migrants back to the Vatican from Cyprus. But again, a very contentious issue, very difficult issue as well, not only just for Greece, but also for the United Kingdom as well. We've seen the problems what's going on there, and a very polarising issue as well with many European countries, not just Greece and not just the United Kingdom. So we'll see what happens with the Pope, but the Pope then led. He was a busy man yesterday, I've got to be honest. Pope Francis then led a Holy Mass at Athens Concert Hall yesterday. There was around 2,000 faithful attended in two different halls in accordance with the COVID rules for social distancing. However, Pope Francis encouraged them to remain hopeful despite the essential deserts of our life. Is it deserts or deserts? No, the essential deserts of our lives. Anyway, interestingly, it wasn't all a quiet visit for him. He was heckled. Pope Francis was heckled by an elderly Greek Orthodox priest on Saturday. He shouted at the Pope, "You are a heretic," The priest shouted it 3 times before police intervened and took him away. The Pope had arrived for a meeting with the head of the Greece's Orthodox Church. Evidence of a lingering distrust between the Orthodox and Catholics for 1,200 years after Christianity was cleaved in half, basically. The protester fell to the ground as the police led him away, and Francis appeared not to notice as he walked into the residence for his private meeting with the Orthodox leaders. So again, I think his visit ends today, actually, and he goes back to the Vatican at the end of his Cyprus and Greek visit. And also a little bit of interesting news as well for Mayan finally. A new study suggests now that coffee consumption may decrease your chances of developing Alzheimer's. Anyway, a study which was published on November the 19th sheds light on the mysterious disease for which there is no cure for now. While coffee does not migrate or fight Alzheimer's like some medications do, a study found that people with no memory loss who drank larger than average amounts of the coffee were at less risk of developing mild cognitive impairment, which is considered a pre-stage to Alzheimer's disease. So basically, if you hadn't been drinking lots of it too early, you might have missed the boat there. Anyway, lead author Samantha Gardner, who is a research fellow at Edith Cowan University in Western Australia, said, with Alzheimer's disease, there's currently a lack of any effective disease-modifying treatments. Our research group is specifically looking at modifiable risk factors that could delay the onset of the disease, and even a 5-year delay could have a massive social and economic benefit. So again, start drinking coffee, all right? Keep your memory going. And it sounds like coffee is a good thing to be drinking. And I wonder if they're talking about coffee, they're talking about Nescafe or talking about proper Greek coffee. Is helping with the memory. I must admit, I used to drink a lot of coffee. I'm not drinking it as much as what I used to. Maybe I should start drinking it again. Right, can I just say hello to all those people that are tuning in at the moment. Big shout out to Billy Hayes. Nice to have you looking in. Also, Chippy Woods in Spain. Nice to see you looking in as well. I hope life is interestingly good for you over there at the moment. I'm not sure what's happening with Spain at the moment. Al Park's up there in Catterick, where it always suns, even where the sun shines, even when it's raining. Nice to have you tuning in as well, big fella. Also, John David Hester says, morning, Ginge. Had my booster on Saturday, but I'm aching all over. Thank you very much for that. Very interesting. A little tip I was given by somebody the other day: if you are going for a booster jab and you had the booster jab, say, in your left arm, ask for it to be given in your right arm. Some people have been saying there'd been damage to their nerve endings from the first jab of the or the first 2 jabs of the injection, the vaccine. And finding that, I know Jane says she suffers terrible pins and needles in her hand since she had the jab. And so advice we had from somebody was to have the opposite arm vaccinated. So it kind of, it sounds silly, it kind of balances it out. But just be aware. Anyway, if you want the vaccine, have it. Got nothing against people not wanting it. If they want it, your choice. And obviously, John, you made your choice, and thank you for telling me that you're feeling not too good after you had it as well. So again, that's interesting. Also, Bob Monroe is tuning in as well. Raffreg buddy Steve Thompson and other Raffreg buddies tuning in. Maria Hadelberg is saying, good morning, Ginge. Wonderful. Is that minus 17.5 degrees this morning? She says, having a lovely day. Anyway, congratulations on your new job as well. I know you've got yourself a job in a hotel as well, bless you. So again, you're working and bang on Sweden. They took the right course of action through the whole of the pandemic, and their economy and their people seem a lot happier for it as well. Anyway, Anita Cristovala is also watching as well. I'm not sure where you are, Anita. Also, Shane Bowen up there in Exmoor. Good morning. Have a great day from a wet Exmoor. Great shows over the weekend. Thank you for that, Shane. Just a quick reminder, just to let you know, my Dance Anthem show, I put that up online quite late last night. So that's there if you want to tune in and have a little listen to it. The last show did very well in the charts. It got to I think about number 15 in the electronic dance music chart on Mixcloud. So again, you can watch that. Big shout out to Maureen Eves as well, who is watching as well. Maureen, can you get in touch with Jane and I? We've not heard from you and your hubby in ages. Hoping you're both okay. But cheers for tuning in. And also don't forget tonight, the repeat of the Northern Soul show. That's going out tonight on Beats Radio. That goes out at 9 o'clock tonight. Greek time, which is 7 p.m. UK time. So if you like a bit of Northern Soul and keep the faith, tune into that on Beats Radio tonight. Trees around Huggett, nice to see you as well. Also, Jan up there, up the road. Hope you're doing all right, mate. The sun is shining now as I'm looking out the windows. Oh, bless. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. And also, Pete Ashmore as well is looking in. And Alf Ling, nice to see you tuning in as well. Right. That's it from me. Can I just say thank you once again for all the people sending me little bits of information. Can I also thank the unvaccinated people that have been getting in touch, just telling me their situation at the moment. And some of them are finding it tough at the moment, but some of them are saying, you know what, it just makes us want to dig our heels in even more and not have the vaccine. So bless you for the way that you feel. And all we can do is wait and see how things pan out at the moment. And again, see what this week is going to bring, literally. Even though the 18th of December is when decisions are going to be made for the UK. Jane and I are constantly watching to see whether we are definitely going to be going back to the UK or not over the Christmas New Year period. So anyway, you take care. I'll keep my ear to the ground, and if I hear of anything, trust me, I'll let you know. Ta-ra.